Hey, Segovia, back with another one. Make sure you guys watch from start to finish. That helps the channel grow. But with that being said, let's get into it. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
As warden for 18 years, what's your view on the death penalty? Do you see it as an effective way to control crime or keep society in line?
Well, I think you have to on bad cases. You can't, for certain things you can do other things, but the way death row was set up, it's pretty bad. You have to have a pretty bad crime to be put on death row. You have to have a combination of murder, robbery, murder, rape, or something like that before you qualify for it. But sooner or later, these other non-serious crimes, in my view, will have to be done other ways because the taxpayer's not going to pay to have all of them locked up. Too many of them.
It gets expensive, right?
Yeah.
So as warden at Holman, part of your job was to perform the executions, right?
Right.
You're using the electric chair or lethal injections?
It was a chair.
So by the time a man gets to the electric chair, where do you see your role in the end of his life? Do you see it as you're responsible for that? You're the one that's pulling the trigger?
First the fires, now this.
Do you think Bigfoot is an animal, or do you think Bigfoot is an interdimensional being that is going through portals in the national parks, and that's why they invented the national parks, was to protect these portals? Also, is that why Missing 411 exists? And Missing 411 is people that go missing in national parks under mysterious circumstances, or they never turn up ever again. They just disappear off the face of the earth, or they end up in places like miles away from where they started in locations they couldn't have got alone. Look at these maps. The top map is Missing 411. The bottom map is Bigfoot sightings in the United States. Do you see a correlation there? I'm not saying Bigfoot is taking these people by any means. All I'm saying is if Bigfoot's going through portals, what if these people are going through portals too? Also, your friendly reminder that if you think you're following me, you're probably not. I was banned on my old account. This is a new account. And yes, I know I fucked up the maps. I'm sorry.
42,000 people tested positive for STDs that went to Houston this spring break. And I know you've all seen the nasty videos of what was happening over there. But could you imagine being as useless as to be 25 plus years old, spring breaking, at your grown-ass age, hoeing out? Our society's so fucked. These are going to be
Makes me feel old.
And a lot of them probably got pregnant.
This video came out 14 years ago, showcasing the CIA's ability to track and trace and surveil. This is before Palantir. Could you imagine how advanced it is now? Especially considering the word on the street is that every year that we advance technologically in public, like decades worth of advancement happens behind the scenes. I think some of their new surveillance tech involves frequencies. And it's amazing how much surveillance they can have, yet there's still so many bad guys out there, and in fact rings and organizations of them. Crazy that they can't stop them.
Yeah, it's over. McDonald's, they don't want any interaction. They took the whole menu off of the screen. They want you to order here. The robots are taking over. It's over. They say don't bother our employees, our 2 employees that we have. It's over.
Charlie,
Can you even go inside and pay cash? I haven't been inside of McDonald's in a very long time. Like, I haven't even used those kiosks. Can you even go in there and pay cash? Do the registers even work?
you think that was a hit, or you think?
Oh, I for sure think it was a hit. For sure. And he was taken out for multiple reasons.
Yeah, what is the reason?
He was the most influential person when it came to the 2 youngest generations, without question. He had the most ability to not only influence them, but to be effective and actually change their way of thinking. And towards the end of his life, he started to change the messaging that he was putting out there. People will try to say he didn't, but he absolutely did. He started to question everything that Israel was doing. He started to question all of the funding. He started to question everything that was happening with Epstein. He started to challenge the administration on attacking Iran, on the Epstein files, on all those things. He was starting to get very loud. He platformed people that were also very aware of what Israel was doing. My opinion, allegedly, is he was taken out for sure.
See, what do you think he would be saying about if he was around today and all this was going on? I think he would have been taking I'm not going to say take a lot of those right-wing voters to the left, because that ain't never going to happen, and vice versa. But I think he would have brought a lot more people into the middle. If what's going on now, all the lies we're being told, I mean, no truth coming out from what I've seen, it would have been interesting to see what he was talking about and the change he would have made on the younger generation. Easy money. Easy money. And I get called out for using other people's content. Go fuck with what they're doing.
"96 years old coming up with this," which kind of makes me think if somebody got in your ear and tried to tell her, "Hey, you need to start saying these things. Let's start talking about this." And now there's a story and there's a big division among the Latino community. We can never sit here and support somebody or find somebody to support. Did Chavez have his faults? Of course. There's no person that's perfect. Just God, man. Other than that, we're all human beings.
So
Now, honestly, I haven't really looked into that, what's going on with that, but it's just crazy that somebody can come out and there's another person that can't defend himself. He can't, say whatever. He can't defend himself, and they're already ripping off statues and doing all that. Now, I don't know what he did. I don't know if there's young ones. I don't know. So I don't want to get too deep into it. But the fact that he can't defend himself and we just got to take someone's word on it.
At the coin launch,
My Hawk meme coin is live!
I actually had, I think, 2 podcasts that day. We were in California when it happened, and the guy that was in the room with us, the one that was like operating the coin, we noticed he was like pacing around everywhere, like nervous, and I was like, is that normal? Like, why is he acting like that? Because, I'm doing podcasts, I'm not controlling the coin, but after all that, and we finished all the podcasts, everybody just kind of went out of the room and they looked concerned, and I was like, what is going on? Like, I don't understand what's happening. And they're like, oh, nothing, you ain't got to worry about it. I pull up my TikTok, and the next thing I know, oh, yep, Haley Welch is going to jail. And I was like, what did I do? Why am I going to jail, It's done every single day. Like, it's normal at this point. Like, normalize it,
What?
Talk to.
So now you're telling me that over a dozen bottlenose dolphins like Gerald have now just washed ashore dead since you and I have been talking about Gerald. The government does not want you to know that Gerald is real. So to make sure you don't know about him, they're just killing all of them in Florida. Yeah, if you don't know what I'm talking about, and you can Google it, you can research it, you can go to the Florida news. Over dozens of dolphins, bottlenose dolphins like Gerald, are now just washing ashore dead. They're just showing up dead on the shore. And they're honestly trying to say it might be disease outbreak or environmental stress. You think? This one takes the cake. Food supply is diminishing. But this is the one. Human-related issues. Yeah, humans are killing them. As a person who grew up in Sarasota, Florida with dolphins and manatees, dolphins, especially a dozen of them, don't just wash up on a shore where stories have been told dead. That doesn't happen unless someone is making that happen. I wish to God that what I was telling you was fake. It was made up, but it's not. They are dying. Dolphins are showing up dead in Florida now. Isn't it ironic? No, it's not. Since you and I have talked about Gerald in March, over 20 bottlenose dolphins are dead now.
So you ever hear about Chris Bledsoe? Chris who? Bledsoe, the guy talking about the orb showing up in Iran, called it years ago.
I didn't catch that. What happened?
Man, they're out there now, exactly like he said. Whole sky lighting up, cameras catching it. Chris Bledsoe,
That's
yo.
wild.
So he said that when Iran was going to live missiles, that the awards were going to show up in April 2026.
He called the date, like the exact month?
April, yeah. Said the sky would light up and they'd be watching over the launch.
That's wild.
We'll know soon enough.
Mentioned in the Jeffrey Epstein files. In 2014, there was a comedy club called the Improv. The Improv is a chain all over the country, and they had one of their clubs there in West Palm Beach. I would perform there 3 to 4 times a year. The email reads from Jeffrey Epstein to his assistant. It says, I need 6 tickets to the Gabriel Iglesias show at 8 o'clock. The assistant replies, the show is sold out. He replies, what about the next one? She replies, it's sold out too. That's it, okay? That is it. That is it, that is it, that is it, that is it, that is it. Yeah. Because I know you guys got nervous. You're like, I thought Fluffy only touched donuts. I just think it's crazy that Jeffrey Epstein, one of the most diabolical human beings to ever walk the face of the earth, had the ability to connect with politicians, with influencers, with celebrities. He put people in very compromising positions. He got people on planes. He put people on islands. He was involved in trafficking. He was able to accomplish all these evil, crazy things. But at the end of the day, he still couldn't get tickets to see my
show. You know, it's crazy. He said all that stuff, the most diabolical person to ever walk the face of the earth, all these crazy things, politicians, you know, influencers, movie stars. He put them in compromising positions. And yet the media doesn't cover this at all. The only thing the media said was he was with Trump. That's it. That is all they said. They didn't say they didn't say nothing about their side or nothing, y'all. So they don't care. They just all political gain, all political gain.
Animals in the world that choose to hunt people. That's it. We think there's hundreds. There aren't. There are tigers, there are leopards, there are crocodiles, and there are polar bears. At the top of that list is polar bears. Nothing can stand up to a polar bear. Polar bears have a sense of smell that, I'm going to butcher this, but it's something like 10,000 times greater than the best bloodhound dog. They have strength that's unparalleled. They can stand 14 feet tall. They have knives for hands. They can open a car like it's a can of tuna. They are unbelievable predators. And they don't look menacing. When you see a polar bear, you're like, oh, and then you see one covered in blood eating a walrus and you're like, oh my God.
The whole Facebook movie is a giant lie. It's a propaganda piece. That was a Pentagon program called LifeLog. LifeLog is a Pentagon program that wants to collect all your data for your whole life. What day did the government stop the LifeLog project?
Whoa. DARPA shut down the LifeLog project February 4th, 2004.
What day was Facebook registered as a business?
My God, no way, bro.
The exact same day. They don't even hide it, dude.
It was created by DARPA.
Yeah, they handed it to Mark Zuckerberg. And then the Vossel twins.
What about the other? Yeah.
That's all. And that's why they became the first Bitcoin millionaires, because they played ball.
Oh my God.
It's all theater, dude.
So what is the purpose of LifeLog?
To collect all your data for your whole entire life.
True. And they do. They collect all our data, y'all. You want to use any of these apps. You want to get a new phone and turn it on. Everything. Can we collect your data? And there's a little optional, right? And everything. It ain't just TikTok. It's everything. It's YouTube. You get a brand new TV. It wants to collect your data. Everything.
Hollywood is evil. Clean, get it done with. Doesn't matter that I signed the blood oath. Doesn't matter anymore. The Illuminati's real. I'm a member. It's how Imagine Dragons got famous. I'm tired of the politics. It puts me at great risk putting this out here and telling you guys this, but I believe in full honesty. And Beyonce's not talking. Chris Martin, nobody's saying a word. So there it is. There.
In that clip you just saw, we can clearly hear Imagine Dragons lead singer Dan Reynolds open up about some very dark stuff. Now, of course, after he posted that short video, he would denounce it and say it was totally satire for entertainment purposes only, right? Found these lyrics from a song ironically titled Demons by Imagine Dragons. First, they talk about dreams failing, and the ones they're hailing are the worst of all. They also state, I want to hide the truth, I want to shelter you, but with the beast inside, there's nowhere we can hide. It would also go on to state, look into my eyes, that's where my demons hide, it's dark inside. Last but not least, they state, don't want to let you down, but I am hellbound. Whoa. So does nobody else find it weird that over the years, hundreds of celebrities have all come out claiming the same type of things? And quite literally, every time a video or claim like that drops, later on they claim it's satire and they were just kidding. It was all one big joke. Comment below with your thoughts. Am I onto something or am I tripping? Wake up.
It's crazy. Have you ever heard the phrase, they don't make them like they used to? Well, there's a reason why. It's called the planned obsolescence. So back in 1924, in Geneva, Switzerland, a group of elites met together. They all owned light bulb manufacturers, and they said, our light bulbs last too long. They all noticed their sales were going down because their light bulbs were too good. Their light bulbs at that time could run for about 2,000 hours. They're like, we need to cut that in half. So they all agreed, all shook on it. We need to crappier products to sell more. They all had to send their light bulbs to get tested, and if it went over 1,000 hours, that company was fine. And so from that meeting, they came up with a term to call themselves the Phoebus Cartel. Phoebus is the god of light, and that term, planned obsolescence, was adopted to every single product now.
Yeah.
Like iPhone, they don't last forever.
Oh shit!
And this is what comes from that.
Is that the Lydia? Yeah.
Arizona heat already. That heat ain't nothing yet. Barely 103 degrees over there. It's gonna get 115, 117, 18.
Well, TMZ got the picture when Justin Bieber and Usher got into it. Y'all can see Justin Bieber ain't playing no games. This man got a white suit on, and he jacking his ass up. Usher's is more like, damn fool, like get up on me. And as y'all can see by Beyonce's face, he must have been saying some crazy shit to Usher. Now for a face that shocked, and the way he looking right here, I can just imagine Justin Bieber saying, you're the reason why I'm going through all this depression. You had me at a young age. You brought me into this life. And y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm not saying that's what happened, but who knows? Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down below in the comments.
Did you notice Justin Bieber and Usher getting into a massive conflict at the Oscar after party? No one realized this intense argument.
Nothing evil was ever in our household in that capacity. My dad
And I believe you that.
I mean, my dad was a believer in Christ. He had
was.
a Bible, like, yes.
How do you make it in the industry? Well, we have rock star Ronnie James Dio right here telling a story about how he summoned Baal or Baal, and then how the demon physically manifested around them and changed things in the room. They all do it.
Well, I think the most memorable thing about that album is all the occult things that we went through, because we went through a severe phase of contacting a spirit that was the most scary thing I think any of us have ever been through. We'd always dabbled before. Certainly Richie did and I did, which was one of our points of conjecture, of connection, I think. And we rose this spirit named Baal. So not to go into the whole thing, Baal was this really evil spirit whose name is on the album, on the Long and Rock Roll album. It says thanks to so on, thanks, like no thanks to Baal, who was really chaotic in, stopping this album. I mean, the tape machines would just suddenly stop on their own. Doors that were locked that had only one key to one person whom we trusted would go up there and things would be playing. And, and it just never ended. And it was the whole progression of that. Toward the very end, my manager, Wendy, and my wife, Wendy, Dio, got pushed down the stairs and accused me of it. I was walking down the stairs. Cozy was behind me. She was probably 5 or 6 stairs ahead of me.
Come on, man, you pushed her down the stairs, you blame Baal, right? No, but really, they all do this. And you think it's only rock stars like Jimmy Page summoning demons, having them at the foot of his bed? Buying Aleister Crowley's house where all these rituals are done? Juice WRLD, A$AP Rocky, they all showed you they were summoning demons. But yeah, keep thinking it's a joke. Let me know in the comments, who are some artists these days that actually aren't Satanist?
How much do you want for it? Let's bid. I bid $500, but you know, I'm prepared to outbid him anyway. Whatever I bid, he's going to outbid me. I bought about $60,000 worth of eggs. Yeah. If you have abortion, that's very valuable. Umbilical cord, you know, placenta, even your period blood is so rich with stem cells. We regard it as waste, and it actually should be. It should be captured as recycled, and it shouldn't go to waste. It's life for somebody, you know. It's life for
See, it's a business, y'all. It's a business. It's just one giant business. Like we're about to have a baby in a couple weeks, right? He's gonna be here, and they cut that umbilical, that placenta. The whole time, well, we're not going into labor this time because she's got to get a C-section, right? So they're not going to be, when she was in labor with the first baby, any women out there, that blood's pumping. Her blood's pumping. The baby's heart rate's going, right? Both of their adrenaline is pumping. Nonstop, these doctors are coming in, taking blood. We have the baby. They prick his foot. Taking blood. It's just a business, y'all. We know about that chrome, right? That young, when they're scared, and that's when it's the most strongest. I'm sure the mom's is even more stronger than that because it's hers and the baby's. You know what I mean? So it's just nonstop. It was a trip to see, y'all. It was a trip to see because I was awake to this and I was just watching, like, just nonstop. Doctors coming in, taking blood. The phlebotomist, I'm telling you, like 8 to 10 times checking her blood, heart rate going, and it's a business.
Levitation was probably a scientific reality to ancient cultures.
Yeah.
Interestingly, the stories about the Ark of the Covenant, it was sheathed in gold, and it would have been extremely heavy. Would have been very difficult for people to lift. And, it was carried on staves because no one, according to the accounts, no one could touch it. The only tribe that was allowed of the 12 tribes to actually transport and move the Ark of the Covenant, the Levites, levitation.
Got it.
Having looked into some of these mystery religions like Kabbalah and stuff that say that there's hidden meanings to the words and the language, that caught my eye, and I thought, that's an interesting coincidence.
Steven Spielberg screening E.T. in the White House. And Steven Spielberg says in an interview, Reagan faced all these national security advisors in the room and said, all of you know that what is on that screen is absolutely real. And it's like, come on. Gorbachev, I think it's an interview with Charlie Rose, where he talks about some UN event where he's sitting next to Reagan. And Reagan literally leans over and he goes, Mr. President, would you join forces with us in the event that there were an alien threat? He's like freaked out. And he goes, of course, Mr. President.
Yeah, all those speeches, you put them together and you're like, I'm playing sight.
7 things you didn't know about the Las Vegas tragedy part 2. And just a heads up, there are some very real photos up in here. Number 3, the cops actually hesitated before breaking into Steven's room during the shooting. He had a pretty solid reason though, because the guy had already shot 200 rounds at the door towards the security guard and struck him in the leg. So they waited for 8 more officers to arrive, and at that point the shooting had stopped. So when they radioed to see if they could break in, they said to wait for the SWAT team. The SWAT team eventually blew the door off with some explosives, and when they went inside, he was already dead. He had let off over 1,000 rounds into the crowd, and over 800 people were injured and 60 died.
We don't see anybody actually injured.
This became America's deadliest shooting, and for some reason, I feel like no one really talks about it anymore. And even when I researched it, there wasn't a whole lot of videos compared to other incidents or even podcasts. There's a lot of weird facts and things that happened surrounding this, and some theories that kind of make sense. Theories outside the official story. Number 4, a police officer let off 3 random rounds inside Steven's room after they broke in, and he was already dead. After the SWAT team and the local police made it into the room, they found that he had taken his life. They did a sweep to make sure no one else was in there, And when they went to the second suite, one of the police officers let off 3 rounds, but he said it was an accident, but no one was in there. That is verified, but keep that in mind for later. And number 5, they found 23 guns in his room, which is kind of a suspicious number. At first you would think, okay, maybe he was going to use all of them just to go crazy, but really that's a lot of work. He could just get a bunch of ammunition for a couple guns, or even one. Keep that in mind for later as well. And number 6, they found a note in his room that had calculations like the distance from his hotel room to the music festival, the winds, and according to the official story, that proves that he had this planned. And number 7, there's a theory that Stephen actually worked for the government and this was an arms deal gone wrong. It sounds crazy, but there's actually some pretty compelling evidence, and we're going to cover that in part 3.
To see how much symbolism he actually uses, but of course the media always covers it up. His pregame ritual is what scares me the most. Take a very close look to see what he's doing with his hands. He points to whatever he believes in, puts his hand together for the Illuminati sign, and then does the 666 devil horns with his hands. And if you think I'm crazy, please tell me what else this could possibly be, because I would love to be wrong. The tattoo on his chest marks the Boule Foundation, which only the rich can join, and in order to join this, you need to have loyalty.
If you had to choose, would you rather know what was going on in Antarctica, the Vatican, or Area 51? Because the rabbit holes of secrets just feel never ending. When I was thinking about the Vatican earlier, I was like, think about the fact that the Bible itself had 80 books in the 1600s. Now we're down to 66, and they removed things like giants, dragons, sirens, Enoch, the Book of Mary Magdalene. All of these different things are hidden from us, and we just don't even know why. Nevertheless, I saw this guy talking about the fact that there were 200 angels that fell from the sky, and around the earth we have 190 craters that have no rock or rubble that were ever found. And then this other person was like, yeah, 10 of them fell into the ocean. Then this lady blew my mind because she was like, what if that's what took the dinosaurs? And why would there be a book about dragons if dragons never existed? And I've gone down so many rabbit holes in the last couple of days that my mind is completely depleted and exhausted, but I'm also super intrigued and I just want to know more. But I feel like I'm just going in circles because every time I uncover a layer, I end up looking into something else that has nothing to do with what I was looking for, and then I'm just stuck because I'm like, I didn't know this either. So what do y'all think about this? Like, if you had to choose, what would you go to first? Okay, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what other crazy rabbit hole has recently come out that you've been going down under. Share this so that we can keep this discussion going. Like, follow, stay for some more tea. I appreciate y'all's support. Bye.
People were burning cities down over one person being murdered. And I can't help but wonder why we don't see anything like this now that this Epstein stuff has come out, when there's evidence of people eating children and molesting and trafficking children.
It's unfathomable. It's not just that you had this group of monsters apparently engaged in all of this unthinkably evil behavior, but the relationship to power, that's extremely dangerous. We are just off with respect to knowing what to direct our energies at. To the extent that massive protests would be clearly warranted in the case of the Epstein revelations, the fact that they haven't shown up is wild, and I think suggests something very dire, or somebody has figured out how to release the pressure so that we never end up getting to the proper level of anger over what was apparently taking place.
That's what I said earlier. The media, y'all. The media. The media, as much as we say, does not influence. It influences the masses, because the media then goes down to social media, and they get all the influencers that have the influence on the social media. You know, the reason why they started burning down cities, I was guessing about the cartel doing that, right? Is because the cartel, there is no, the media out there doesn't run it. The cartel does, right? The cartel runs the government. The cartel runs everything. Y'all runs all the businesses, everything. So when you kill their leader, they're going to burn it. It's not the regular people that are doing that. It was the cartel. I'm guessing that's what they were talking about. But out here, the media if the media really cared and broadcasted everything, we would have been out there rioting. People would have been out there. The masses would have been out there rioting. But they didn't want it. They didn't talk about it. They didn't talk about it. All they did was make us more divided. Blamed it all on Trump. Made us more divided. That's all they did. And then Trump came out and said, you guys are still worried about that? Who cares? It happened a long time ago. He knew everybody in Palm Beach, right? That was to his crowd. That's it. If they wanted us out there rioting, we would have been out there rioting, yo.
tour last month of the Bonneville flood, which was peaked at just almost 40 million cubic feet per second. And it was the discharge of Lake Bonneville, a gigantic inland sea that got up to about 1,000 feet deep. And what really blew my mind was how enormous the basin was. To travel for 2 days and we only saw a part of it. And then you're basically driving over desert floor. And then to realize that this lake was 600, 700, 800, even up to 1,000 feet deep, where it's just desert now. Clearly a very different environment.
Tim McVeigh lost at everything he did in life until he met Terry Nichols and they decided we're going to do something bigger than America. We're going to blow up the Oklahoma City Federal Building.
First off, give the devil his due. Boy, that guy knew how to make a bomb. The guys who chucked the bombs into the crowd in front of Mandami's place were not good at that.
No, they were not.
Then there was another guy who was trying to take down the World Trade Center. He blew up a van.
In 1993.
Which, didn't take down the Trade Center. But holy shit, McVeigh in that rental truck. Holy crap, was that thing. It literally
took the face off a federal building.
For those who fight me on the death penalty, first things first. Every poor black guy who gets fingered by some old woman who says he robbed a liquor store and the guy's dead, I don't need that guy put to death.
No.
If there's gray area.
No.
If you take out 160 something, and including a preschool,
right?
Well, then I need you put down.
Yeah.
Number one.
No problem with that.
Number two, I don't need you in the system for 45 years painting clowns and penning
Writing books.
autobiographies and being interviewed by Geraldo. I just want you put down.
Right.
And McVeigh, they just put him down.
did.
Right now, McVeigh, who was, you would know, probably his late 20s, early 30s when he did this.
I think he was late 20s, I believe.
McVeigh would be younger than us. He'd be suing the penal system for some sort of, he'd be transitioning. He'd be suing the state
Whatever
for
he
not
could do
paying for his
to pass
transition.
the time of his life sentence.
Right.
He'd be in the wheel in Colorado next to whomever.
He'd be zoomed in to Rogan's show this weekend. He'd be selling paintings. He God knows. Or we'll just take him out and he's done.
He deserved the death penalty.
Right.
I mean, I can remember to this day the image of a firefighter carrying the limp body of a child trying to rescue.
Yeah, like the daycare center was on like the third. It's too bad.
On the first floor of that federal building.
It's too bad it wasn't a daycare center that was run by Somalians. There would have been no kids in there.
Exactly.
Just a couple Somalian guys smoking,
box of money,
trying to lease a Mercedes.
A hookah pipe.
And I put this in writing to the Pentagon in 2012 when I told this, okay? One thing she told me was, when you see Iran and Israel exchanging missiles, and I saw it, the way she tells me is a vision of, I see it like a living picture screen. I could see the rockets flying. Then all of a sudden, orbs appeared out of the ocean and everywhere. And I told the government, if this happens, the orbs are going to appear and wake people up and stop it. That's what she told me. It was this April date.
April 2026.
Yeah.
And okay, you've put yourself in it there, Chris.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
It's going to be Chris Bledsoe says April 2026 is when it all happens.
Well, but I can tell you this: when I told this to the government about 2026, I just repeated what she told me. They immediately put remote viewers on it. And all of a sudden, all the remote viewers are saying, oh my God, 2026, 2027, something.
50. I mean, it's trending to something big is coming. One of those nuclear explosions. Like, it looks like it's trending that way. Why? I don't know. What's going on over there? We don't know. Do they even have weapons of mass destruction over there? I don't know. But I remember there was a clip, I don't know where I saw it, but they said every single war that has ever gone on was over oil. It was at the root, it was always over oil, every war. And what are we doing now? At the end of the day, it's over the oil. At the end of the day, something to do with the oil. And it looks like we're trending towards the way our president's talking. Draft is on the board. Big time explosions are coming if they don't act right. Severe consequences are like these type of words are being thrown that it's trending for April. These beings, I don't know, because it's never been this bad, y'all. It's never, not even the Afghanistan Iraq war was this bad, right? Words that are being said and things that are being done, genocides happening, right? Everyone forgot about that. Ain't nobody protesting about Palestine no more. Nobody cares. You know why? Because the media isn't broadcasting it. So all these people don't care no more about that, right? The masses. Something big is coming, y'all. Something big is coming with that. Now, are the beans going to come down and say, "Hey, you guys are getting a little too out of hand. We need to renegotiate over here"? I don't know. I guess time will tell.
A barber and a waitress could buy a house with a big yard for a dog and raise 4 kids, meat and potatoes on the dinner table every night.
Mm-hmm.
And now an accountant and a lawyer can't do that. Why is that? It's
Well,
crazy.
there's a lot of spending and a lot of making money, a lot of just
cash.
turning, just making dollar bills with nothing behind it, nothing to back it.
This is the biggest fraud perpetrated on the working class people in the last 100 years.
Printing money is just insane. Money. It's just the idea you just print more money. It's like, and people go, "Oh, okay."
Well, it looks painless at first,
Right.
but if you have an economy with 10 apples and $10, it's $1 an apple. You double the number of dollars to 20, but you still only have 10 apples. Well, all of a sudden it's $2 an apple. And it's not that the cost of apples has gone up. It still costs the same resources to grow and pick the apples. It's that the price has gone up because the value of the money has gone down.
Right.
So in America, over the last 55 years, you've doubled the number of homes in America from about 70 million to 150 million. You know how much the money supply has grown? 30 times. So you have twice the homes, but 30 times the cash. So what's happened? Housing costs have gone up 15-fold in 55 years. And now an entire generation of kids can't afford homes. We have exactly the same problem in Canada. This is the biggest wealth transfer from the working class to the elites, from I say the have-nots to the have-yachts. And Washington and Wall Street love it, by the way, because it inflates the stock market, it inflates the bureaucracy. Politicians get to spend, CEOs get their stocks inflated. But it destroys the working people, and we need to get back to hard money. Everything should be getting cheaper, by the way. You know, it takes 60 to 80% less resources to grow food. We grow 4 times the food on the same acre, get 4 times as much milk from the same cow. We use 80% less water and fertilizer. So why isn't it that food is not less expensive? It's because all of those gains are being erased by monetary inflation. So it's not that food is more costly, it's that the money we use to buy it has less purchasing power. And we need to do what the Swiss do, which is they don't print money. They have balanced budgets, they have almost no deficit, and they have almost zero inflation in Switzerland. They have the strongest money in the world, the Swiss franc. And we would all be better if we operated like the Swiss when it comes to our money.
The big dog.
Isn't it super expensive to live there? But we're getting into on the second channel, y'all, later today. I'm gonna film it after this of the cost of living, how out of control it is. Everything from groceries to electricity bills to gas to car payments, all of it. We're gonna cover it all. But I remember I lived with my ex, right, back in 2012, 2013. I worked part-time at UPS. She worked part-time at CVS. We had a nice 1-bedroom apartment, right? We ate good. Got to go on, Disneyland, Sedona, San Diego, once a year. I was making like $10.50, $11 an hour. She was making, I think, less than that. And we were living comfortable. Our 1-bedroom apartment was like $650 a month, y'all, back in 2012, 2013. Now that same exact apartment that was $650, probably like 700 square feet, is like $2,000 now a month. And guess what? That person at CVS, that person at UPS, working the same jobs, probably went from like $8.50 to like $11, and UPS is probably like $13, $14. Went up like $3. But the rent went up, what, $1,400, but the pay went up $2 or $3.
In Hollywood, they got confused with streaming. They didn't realize that's because we locked down.
Mm-hmm.
This not going to sustain.
Okay.
So everybody went crazy. Oh, we got to get a streamer. We got to get a streamer. Everybody, all the networks like, we got to get our streamer. We got to get our streamer. And then the world opened back up. It's like, okay, well, we back living now. So nobody's just home binging all day. Because what happened was we was all on Netflix. Then everybody was like, oh, we got to get a stream. We got to get a Netflix. But now we back outside.
Right. So you think the day of the movies is always going to be here, or do you think that's going to go away now?
Theater?
Yeah,
The movie theater?
Yeah, the movie theater.
I think it's going to stick around, but I think it's going to be one of those things like a novelty thing. And I think, like, for me, I enjoy going to a movie theater.
Me too.
But it got to be something to go see. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's what I was
don't
gonna
think
say.
it's the theater. I think they just ain't making nothing worth going to see.
See, a good genius business plan, if I had money, would be a theater, just a vintage theater, playing nothing but older movies. Nobody wants to go see these new movies. They're garbage, right? I know some movie theaters, like on a Tuesday, they'll have a throwback or something like that. Like if there was a movie theater that played nothing but the old school movies, it'd be a hit, right? It'd be a hit. It's the movies that suck, not the theaters.
Okay, right now it looks like Australia is going to be the first domino to fall, unfortunately, in this fuel crisis, which is quickly getting out of control. 90% of Australia's fuel comes from Asia, which it gets from the Middle East. 42 gas stations have no fuel at all. 107 have run out of diesel. And someone goes on to say how ridiculous this is because in the 1970s, Australia produced over 70% of its fuel. They're also telling Australians to drive slower, to work from home, and to avoid air travel. Now, you remember, a lot of this stuff is first a suggestion, and they're worried about fertilizer, of course, and diesel. But a lot of this starts as a suggestion, and then it turns into something else, if you remember what happened in 2020. Then Trump said if Iran doesn't fully open the Strait of Hormuz within 48 hours, and he posted this last night, then he will hit their power plants and obliterate their power plants, starting with the biggest one first.
See,
now, I can tell you,
saying.
I'm pretty sure the Strait of Hormuz is going to remain closed. Because if it stays closed, we end up in an energy crisis. And it seems like if we get in an energy crisis...
But look at that tweet. Who is that going to cripple? Is that going to cripple Iran? I mean, I had a video the other day about Iran just dumping diesel fuel. They dump it. It's just, they got too much. Diesel fuel over there is like 25 cents a gallon. It's not going to cripple them. That's what I don't get. Like these things they're doing, it's crippling the people all around the world. Iran's okay. It's not hurting them. This is what they want. They want the oil to go to 200 a gallon. They said it. They're whoever that general or whoever it is over there. He said we want to. That's how they're going to win this war. They're not going to win the war by bombing us and killing American people. They're going to win the war by us being screwed and in poverty and miserable, and we take over the government, and that's what they want. That's how they win the war. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. We're going to power plants. We're going to start with the biggest one first. Who is that going to affect? Mr. Trump? Is that going to affect the Iranian people? I don't think so. It's going to affect us. I don't understand it.
Then by 2030, we will all be driving electric vehicles or public transit electric vehicles, which I'm pretty sure they wanted to do. So it seems like there's a problem right now, which is going to have a reaction, and the solution is going to help achieve all the 2030 goals in the first place. Isn't that an interesting problem to have that results in the solution of the thing that they wanted to do anyway? I wonder if there's something more to that. Now, I would say like stockpile gas and food and all this, but dude, this is going to last a while. Even if you had a year's worth of fuel for your vehicle, this thing is likely. Think of it. It was supposed to be 2 weeks to flatten the curve, and it was 2 years. Now, this is temporary war measures that they're talking about, reducing fuel or like restricting fuel usage and all that. But wars last decades. So just keep your head on a swivel and don't take the mark, because that's coming at some point too.
Don't worry about like squirreling money away for retirement in like 10 or 20 years.
You got this piece of shit. Sorry, y'all.
Okay.
I get mad at these
we're not going
people.
to be here, or it just like it's you won't need to save for retirement. If any of the things that we've said are true, saving for retirement will be irrelevant. Fun like sidetrack, fun little fact.
See, like they know what they're doing, and they're still doing it. They're still doing it. And people call this guy a genius. He's the smartest man on the planet. He's telling the people, don't even worry about saving for retirement. It's going to be useless. You're not going to need it. You're pretty much all going to be dead. And we know it, but we're still going to continue on with this process because we don't care about you because we're going to live because we got money. And people don't even bat an eye. Don't even bat an eye. Probably didn't even hear what the hell he said when he was saying it.
Pearl Harbor. We're taught that Japan just bombed us, right? But that's really stupid. Japan was fighting a war against China, and they are a battle for the Pacific. They're part of the Axis powers. I'm not saying that we intentionally made or forced Japan to attack us to give us an excuse to get into the war. What I'm saying is that we caused Japan to bomb Pearl Harbor. This is what happened. So Japan does not produce its own energy. And when you are in the middle of a war and industrialization, you need to feed the war machine. And in order to feed the war machine, you need oil. Japan is importing lots of oil. America, the education does not teach you. It never taught you about the embargo, okay, and about the blockade. The United States did a blockade around Japan. This is before Pearl Harbor, preventing oil from getting to Japan. People think Japan just went and attacked America. We're just told on December 7th, 1941, Japan bombed Pearl Harbor and forced America to enter the war. They wanted to cripple the Navy because the Navy was the ones that were in charge of the blockade. Whether it's a good thing that we did this and provoked them into it so we could get into the war with the justification and then help the world be free from Nazis and Japanese mad scientists, that's an opinion. That's fine. I have nothing against that. This is how it happened. We provoked them. So here's the history. Now, here's the conspiracy part. Number one, on the island of Oahu, Pearl Harbor. Why was it that every major battleship and aircraft carrier destroyer was sitting in one spot? It was almost like it was gift wrapped. Number two, people that were working at that time on ships that were out here with early radar who had detected Japanese aircraft coming inbound. So there are some people who believe that not only were they provoked, that they wanted to make sure it was a big enough hit that it could justify Congress and our government to declare entry into the war.
Can anyone tell me why there is no coverage on what's going on in Oahu? None. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it because I will butcher it, but their dam has broken. Like it's failed. The whole North Shore, I don't know if any of you have ever been to Hawaii, but it's completely flooded. Like nobody's talking about this. It's just kind of weird that like not a soul is talking about this. And like the devastation, like I have seen just a couple videos now, like this has all been happening within like the last like 24 hours. And the amount of water, like the dam has failed. It has failed. And hopefully people have evacuated. Like it's crazy. Go look at the video.
Oh, that helicopter. We know that.
And the weird thing is, every scientist that I know that's studying DMT, not one of them thinks it's a hallucination.
What do they think it is?
I think the more familiar someone is with DMT, the less certain they are about what the hell's going on. But everyone, literally everyone who uses DMT pretty much goes to the same exact places. And they all meet the same entities, the same 7 or 8 different types of entities. And it's been the same for 4,500 years of recorded history with DMT. And DMT is something we make in our own body. It's an endogenous chemical.
Has it changed your perception of what reality really is?
100%. Yeah. It's so much more real than this reality. It's like, it's so ineffable. There are no words that can describe it, but it's 1,000, maybe 1,000,000 times more real than this in such a way that just coming back to this feels like everything is kind of claymation for a little while.
Claymation?
Or just fake, like a cartoon of some kind. It's just really low resolution. And I come back with no certainty about anything. And I think everybody comes back with that lack of certainty.
You guys know the United States Navy has attacked dolphins, right? Right now, today, at this very moment, as you are watching this video, around the Navy ships that are in the piers on our naval bases, there are dolphins in the water that the Navy uses as attack dolphins. I got to meet some of them when I was in the Navy. I was stationed at My second squadron was called VR-59. It's the Space Available Transport Squadron. We have a Boeing 737 and it is modified. It's literally on lease from Boeing. It's modified for cargo transport. So the front section of the plane, you take the seats out and it has a giant cargo door that lifts up on the left side of the plane if you're facing the front of the plane, let's say. One time we were flying to San Diego and we loaded dolphins into the plane. These giant water tanks with these massive fucking dolphins in them. The dolphin was huge and we got to listen to the trainers, the transporters of the dolphins, tell us how they use them for training. Those dolphins that we were taking were on the way to go do training at BUDS for the Navy SEALs. They take them out into the bay and they have them practice with the dolphins and basically play hide and go seek. The dolphins are trying to find the guys and they're trying to avoid being seen by this dolphin. They tag the dolphin with light so you can see the dolphin. They have glow sticks on the dolphins. You can see where the dolphin is in the water and they are trying to avoid being captured by the dolphins. And then whenever the dolphin sees them, finds them eventually, no one probably ever wins against the dolphin, comes up and tags them. It actually hits them, which is crazy because the dolphins could kill them for real if they wanted to. That's what the dolphins are literally being used for and trained for. If they were in the port and someone was going to try to come up and hurt one of our ships or do damage to one of our ships or any of our personnel, the dolphins could literally kill the person, but they come up and they just like basically hit them really hard because they're extremely intelligent creatures. But we have dolphins that are specifically meant to attack people. United States Navy, just the same way they got psychics and witches, they got dolphins. Bring some water. Look at this line.
These freaking people, y'all. I don't get it.
When the Dutch brothers.
Hell no. We'll come back in a month when it's dead.
They got Top down here direct there.
This is crazy. Even the walk up is outrageous.
Nah, no thanks.
How big is the new data center campus they're building in the Texas Panhandle? It's the biggest one in the world. It will use as much power as all of the homes in the entire state of Texas combined times 2. It will use more power than 38 states. Not combined, but it will use more power than all of the power used in any one of 38 different states. The data center campus portion of it is, I believe, 18 million square feet. It will sit on a piece of ground that is 5 square miles. So you can drive by it for 5 miles, make a right turn and drive by it for another 5 miles. That's pretty big. You know what the wild part is? The company building it has no knowledge of data centers. Nope,
Shit,
not in the data center business. Project Matador. Look it up. Thanks.
And what sucks is us Texans are going to pay to run that. That's the loopholes these rich people have when they're rich. They don't even got to pay to power it. We're going to put it on the electric company to, raise everyone in the state of Texas. Raise them $5. Raise them $5. They're going to cry a little bit. They're going to go to city halls and complain a little bit. Probably more than $5. Probably like $50. Raise it up. They're already doing it. Raise it up $50. They're going to complain, whatever. You know how these people are. They cry for a week and then they're over it, right? They just fall in line and do it. And that's how they're going to run that profit. 100% profit. They don't got no overhead. They don't got no overhead, y'all. They put it on us.
Okay. So let's get back to the underwater bases since these are these photos. So this is, I guess in an episode you spoke of having to do procedures underwater. And could you explain why? Like, why would you not just put the being in a tank and operate them in a regular room? Why would you have to be underwater as well?
Well, some of the beings come from water worlds, and there's a lot of beings that live here. We call them like aquafarians. Is kind of the code we use for that. They live here already. They've been living here a long time, but we do have visitors that also come from very far away. That their ships have liquid in them of all different sorts of materials. This specific one It looks like a mermaid man with little fins. There's sometimes that you cannot, people are like, well, why can't you use those big tubes? And like, because you don't have the visualization, number one. So we actually have operating rooms as big as this room filled with seawater that we walk into with these suits and take samples, because the bodies have to be kept in the water or they'll deteriorate with pure oxygen on the surface. So that's why we cannot, use these little capsules and stuff. You have to be ambidextrous here. You're talking some very small instruments and things like that. This is a good depiction of that. And we have these special boots that keep us, they're magnetic, that keep us on the ground. Everything is contained in the suit. And this is just one of the artist renditions that I depicted for them for this procedure. So it has everything an operating room would have. It's just, it's underwater.
How many times did you have to do an underwater procedure like that? Did you do them often?
No, maybe 5% of the ones that I did, you had to do in some sort of liquid or water.
Okay.
I've been on this show 8 times now, and I still remember Ellen hiding in the bathroom with a hidden camera. She scared me so bad, and I fell, and I could have died.
Do you guys think this is a joke? I'll tell you, she was telling the truth, and it's not the first time that she's done this. People are finally waking up to the energy behind the show. It wasn't just scare pranks, it was a documented culture of fear. We're talking about an office where staff literally couldn't make eye contact with Ellen. Trust me, it goes deeper than this. Ellen claims that she didn't even know that this was a rule. And the bathroom thing, it's real. She filmed JB, Selena, and Taylor in private just for content. Her own staff blew the whistle on the intimidation and claims of bullying while she was out there selling Be Kind t-shirts. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below.
As a retired school teacher, this is diabolical. I'm a kindergarten teacher and I have 17 students, and 13 of them are on an IEP. I want to know, and this is somewhat rhetorical, how is this possible? Let's say none of them went to preschool. They're just walking right into a kindergarten as their first education experience. These kids are 5 years old. What's happening? Is it the food? Look, don't spin here. I know some kids truly need services. But what about the ones who are being diagnosed with IEPs? Because most of their growing years have been spent with this. Because this right here helps to cause speech delays, lack of fine motor skills, lack of social and emotional growth and development, lack of executive functioning skills, lack of attention, increases in hyperactivity, lack of basic academic foundations. Kindergarten teachers, let us know.
Unhinged Hawaii grocery prices. Let me show you guys. Wait. Okay, berries. $7.99 for blueberries, $8.99 for strawberries, 3 pairs for $12, $7 for just like a small bag like this. Gosh. Bacon is on sale. The pizzas are ridiculous.
Damn. Where is she
I
at?
just put stuff back. I'm like, I'll wait till it goes on sale. I don't even end up getting
Well,
it.
she said in
Show
the
you
beginning.
a couple more things. Bread on sales is $9. Basic brand Oro wheat $7.59. Ice cream is on sale.
Yeah, I'm
Ice
moving.
cream is on sale. Everyone's always shocked when I shop in Target all the time, but if you compare it to any of the other grocery stores here besides like Costco and Walmart, I'm telling you, you're gonna end up walking out. So yeah, that's what it's
Who
like.
shops at Target?
Grocery shopping in Hawaii.
Hawaii.
I have a bone to pick with Kleenex. If I'm already sneezing, what is all this? Is this some kind of tactic to make me use more? Be for real.
Wasn't it with like Allegra, like allergy medicine? they paid or something. I forgot what it was, but to plant nothing but female trees or male trees because those are the ones that bloom all the pollen. So people take more something. I forgot. We put that on a video a long time ago, y'all. But that Kleenex thing, it is true. It's full of all this powder and stuff.
He classified a lot of documents.
Oh yeah, they did.
They said that they have a machine that they came out that it takes people's energy. And you really think about it, bro. It's probably like the forbidden fruit.
Yeah, bro.
They got the forbidden apple in the back.
You speaking some real shit.
They taking everybody's energy like that, bro. Because honestly, there be times I'll be on my bed just doom scrolling, I feel tired. So it's just like
it steals your energy.
Yeah. So it's like the shit's kind of.
And it steals your like good energy.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you're left with like bad energy.
Yeah.
You know. The worst thing you could do in the morning is doom scroll.
Yeah.
And if you wake up and then start doing that, you're
and it feels like you just have unnecessary thoughts in your head.
Cartel.
That? And obviously we'll go deep into the cartels because I'm fascinated about your experience. Would a low-level person or a foot soldier for the cartel even have the authority to make that call? Or would they need to go up the chain for that, knowing that that much scrutiny would come back at them?
Most definitely. They would need authorization from at least a plaza boss. The area boss. And they would be the first ones to say, "Are you stupid?" Or like, no.
That's a lot of heat.
It is a lot of heat. It is. I mean, I've had several instances in especially working in Mexico, in Monterrey and Juarez, where it was actually the plaza bosses that protected you as a U.S. federal agency from other plaza bosses because they didn't want heat.
Okay, I hadn't considered that either.
Yeah, so yeah, it was a weird situation in Monterrey, where Monterrey and San Pedro Garza Garcia, which is kind of like the real rich area in Mexico, San Pedro Garza Garcia, separated by a huge mountain and a tunnel in the middle, right? At that time, San Pedro Garza Garcia belonged to the Beltran Leivas, right? Monterrey belonged to the Zetas. So we had done a couple of operations with DEA and ATF in Monterrey where we were hitting these guys pretty much, hitting them, hit after hit after hit. Well, the Zetas got tired and word went out that they wanted to get one of the U.S. federal agents on the San Pedro Garza. So they called as a courtesy, hey, we're going to go kill one of these guys because they've been hitting us or whatever, thinking that the other cartel guy would be like, yeah, go ahead. And he was like, no, fuck, no, you're not going to come in my plaza and heat it up.
Yeah.
So he actually had dispatched his men to watch our residences and watch our places that we ate. And
good guys.
I remember that time it was real weird because you could tell you're doing counter surveillance. Like, man, they're following me, but we kind of figured out who was who, and it wasn't until about a year after I had left that we found out that it was him, Hector La Burra, that was kind of protecting you guys, and
he was your outer perimeter of security.
Yeah, exactly. He was actually, because he had gotten arrested, and he was actually saying like, hey, am I going to get credit for saving your agent's life? And he named specific locations, specific situations that I was like, oh yeah, I remember that.
Damn.
I remember being on a date with a young lady from Monterrey there, and I remember there was a weird situation because there was once you could see vehicles parked, right, and several men but it was like two different. It was like on two different sides of the parking lot. I remember walking in, I said, nah, we walked right out. And that was one of the situations that was mentioned. Like, yeah, I remember, like he even remembered what color dress a girl was wearing. So that's how I knew. I was like, oh, wow.
Man.
There are holes on the ocean floor, and scientists don't know why. Dozen sets of single file lines of holes in the depths of the ocean at about 1.6 miles down.
This has to be the work of the octopus.
I knew you were going to say that.
They are very intelligent. They might only live 2 to 3 years, but they are very intelligent, and they like to play games, my friend.
I think it's hydrothermal activity. I think there's some sort of thermal underwater volcano underneath the ground that's releasing superheated water that's cutting through the earth.
My guess is there's some kind of a very large ribbon worm-esque animal down at the bottom of the ocean. And sort of like the mycelium network of mushrooms, this thing has this big network that's spread out and it's popping up, along its course.
I think the world ended in 2012. Okay. Now, a couple things happened. For one, you guys know about CERN, right?
No.
Okay, CERN, the Hydrogen Collider. And what that is they discovered the God particle through that. And they've been doing tests since this thing is fired up that have to do with what makes up the universe, the secrets of the universe, right? So since this thing has fired up in 2012, they said in theory it could have collapsed time itself or Earth, or ended the Earth from what we know it, right? Because they're smashing atoms together and doing all these different things. So that fired up in 2012. What movie was about a world-ending event?
2012?
2012. Okay. So after all that, I think after 2012, other timelines have been colliding with each other, right? So the world we knew ended. And now what we're seeing is...
So tell me, you said a lot of witchcraft in Africa. I was like, there's more witchcraft in America than anywhere in the world.
Really?
I'm serious. It's just packaged differently. It's packaged in a way that people have accepted it. People accept white witches. There's no such thing as a good witch. None. All witchcraft is bad. Anybody that is connecting with the devil, whether it's New Age, whether it's witchcraft, whether it's Church of Satan, Scientology, it's all the devil. If you open the door for the enemy to come in through whatever it is that we're doing, the attributes of the devil is to steal, to kill, to destroy homes, families, children, businesses, just everything. And you can see how much our society has gone to a place where it's just so dark and demonic. There are just two forces in the world, God and the devil. Human beings are in the greater balance of power in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
There's the power of God and there's the power of the devil. Human beings don't have power. We have authority. Let that sink in. We don't have power like the devil. We don't have power like God. We have authority. And if we give our authority to God, God intervenes in the world. If we give our authority to the devil intervenes and messes up our world. So the reason why our world is so crazy is because human beings have failed to give their authority to God.
I understand.
Man, when I was doing these videos, when I was reacting right now, I realized, y'all, we're not really a conspiracy type of TikTok reactor over here. We kind of just react to, there's a little bit of it in here, right? A little bit. It's not a full hour of nothing but conspiracies. Now, I don't watch other people in this genre, so I don't know if they're all like that. You guys let me know. But I realize we kind of react to what's going on right now, or things that's happened in the past that's actually true, and kind of more like just a compilation of interesting videos. That's kind of what we do. So that's kind of how I'm going to start marketing my videos, right? I'm not really a conspiracy reactor. Now, I don't know, is everyone that does these reactions, is this kind of what they do? Honestly, I don't watch them. So let me know down below. Is this kind of what everyone does? Or, does everyone just stick to the conspiracy type things? Because I just realized it today. Like, we're not really into the conspiracy things, y'all. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. You made it this far. You know what to do. Hit that like, comment, subscribe, y'all. Got a lot done yesterday. Did a lot of things I've been putting off. Moved furniture, getting ready for this baby. We're prepping the house. I'm gonna get it cleaned. I think they're coming today to do a walkthrough and just do a deep cleaning so we don't have to worry about it. Get my dogs groomed so we don't have to worry about it. Get the house sprayed, get all that done so that by the time the baby's here, our house is good for a long while. So all we have to do is focus on the baby, y'all. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is Segovia. I'm signing out of the man cave. I'm gonna see you guys on the next one. Later.